Melnick, and Melnick kind of asked a couple of questions and peeled back some layers, and we were all privy to a bit of the story of what made Milton Milton. And I wanted to go live and talk about it. So, Milton, I know you have been you're all around the world, almost everywhere I go. You're coming. You're moving around in the space. Let's talk about, first off, to kick things off, what that looks like. You're moving around now again, right? You're traveling all the time. So what does that look like, and what is your main business at the moment?
So basically, I'm in the business of building relationships right now and providing as much value as I can. And just before I get into that, thank you, Bruce, for having me on. I really much appreciate it. It's definitely an honor to be on. And
Honored to have you.
thank you.
Thank you.
So, basically, what we do is we connect networks, we build bridges with different networks around the world. We're right now basically hosting dinners around the world within our network, building relationships currently, and just focusing on the relationships that we have right now, instead of building new relationships and seeking out new people. So that's what we're doing right now.
Very cool. So we're just recently all in Vegas as well. Wonderful dinner there on top of the New Yorker. What was this restaurant called? This place, the
Fountain Room.
The Fountain Room, very famous place. The Fountain Room. Of course, Michael Turpin does a great job. Have you been working with Michael Turpin for a while?
I've been very involved in the community in crypto here in the United States and abroad. And I have spoken, to Michael multiple times, and, he's a great person. I see him as a mentor. And, we haven't had any opportunity to work together directly. But I have spoken at Crypto Mondays, and have participated in Coin Agenda. I was one of the sponsors, and as you know, we did the dinner, and yeah, indirectly, yes.
Very cool. Well, I know we'll be get together again in Dubai. I am there with one of my clients here, Prosaga. We're going to be at the Agora event. We'll have a gala on Tuesday. You're going to have to come.
Oh, definitely.
I'll make sure that happens. We'll be, of course, at the Pitman Digital Mining Summit, and of course the Middle East Investment Summit, and something else. So
you guys are really global, all over.
So I know it's kind of funny, you sit here and you say, okay, and we've known each other for a while, and I hadn't really heard your story, and so I kind of want to jump in on that a little bit because it's so interesting. So you've been in the Bitcoin space a while. Let's tell you, if you don't mind, let's talk a little bit about you. How did you get started in this?
So basically, I started 4 years ago in January 2017, and I was introduced to Bitcoin through a Bitcoin ATM, discovering a Bitcoin ATM. I discovered this ATM the day that I just received a job opportunity to be a waiter. And before that, I was homeless on the street. I was sleeping at Atlanta International Airport for about a month. I was in $20,000 debt. And I was lucky enough to have someone who helped me and said that they would pay for rent and food for 6 months. And the next day, I ended up getting that job that I was speaking of as a waiter. And I discovered the Bitcoin ATM. So I had $20 and I put it into the ATM. And right then and there, I understood, the value of Bitcoin and how early on I really was. And it just clicked. So I received $17 worth of Bitcoin back. And I went home and I studied what blockchain was and what Bitcoin was and what the value was. And that afternoon, I already understood the impact that it would have on the world and the opportunities to use the underlying technology of Bitcoin to apply on so many different use cases. And the next day I wake up and that $17 worth of Bitcoin ended up being worth $21. So me in my mind, I said, if I would have worked, very hard for 2 weeks, then I would would have made $400 in my sleep. So I saw the value in that, and then the next day I automatically knew that I was going to be rich because I knew what I was capable of, working wise. So what I did was I ended up working as a server at Taverna Buckhead in Atlanta, and then I end up working double shifts, 7 days a week. When I couldn't get a shift, I was doing odd job construction work on the side, and I was just working double shift 7 days a week for 11 months straight. And I just basically invested 90% of my income into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency starting in January 2017. And then went very, very well. And ever since then, I have been privileged to, blessed to be able to be surrounded by amazing people like yourself and the amazing people around the world that I was blessed to be able to just travel to and provide value for and to actually build relationships with.
Well, it's an amazing story. And, you don't hear stories like this often at all in life. Or, you hear, well, it was, and I did this and I did that. And there was even more, off camera, which I understand. But, to come from where you were coming from and, to realize that this was a transformative technology, that this was going to change the world. I mean, how did the people around you react? I mean, what was the reaction that you got?
So, it's a very common reaction that I hear in the community. It's just that everyone just thinks we're crazy, just like they look at us like conspiracy theorists. And, so I would tell everyone that I would get in contact with, because I was obsessed with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, hash graph, everything, Internet of Things, quantum computing, and I was just amazed by AI and everything, because everything was new to me, because I did 4.5 years in prison. So I had a very different perspective, of the world at that point, because when I came home from prison after 4.5 years, everything was so different, and I kept my head down and I was just working nonstop then too. So, I wasn't really affected by all the marketing and advertising that everyone else was for 4.5 years plus. So when, I came out, I saw that everyone was going crazy, and people were being brainwashed. And then I was like, this is freaking amazing. I can't believe that people really allowed things to get this bad and just be okay with it, And so I saw everything so differently. And as soon as I came out, the thing was, while being in prison, I learned a lot. That was my university right there, and I learned a lot about myself. And the thing was that in there, you have to face your problems no matter what, because you go to sleep with your problems, you wake up to your problems, your problems are always in your face, So I learned in there, I was always like that, but in there, I knew the difference, it's you have to look. So that was an advantage, because when I came out into the world, I just saw everyone was just running. Everybody was just running. Everyone was running away from all their problems. And then I was able to see it so obviously. So it changed everything, because I was like, I have an advantage that other people don't.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy that it's not crazy, I guess. But it is a little crazy. I mean, so taking something like that and turning it into an advantage is really something else. And I interview a lot of people, man, all the time, and I know a lot of people. And it was Steven speak at his university. It's those types of stories. It's there's that one biblical story, right? And when the one son comes back, you celebrate more than the son that's just been doing everything. And I don't know the whole story, but it's an amazing. It touches your heart, and so I really appreciate you coming on. So I know you're making some moves in Dubai, as well as it sounds like Portugal. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a
Yes.
little bit about those?
So I'm gonna be doing two things mainly over there in Portugal. Is I'm gonna be working with Garden State Crypto, and I'm gonna be part of the Bit House out there, and building the community out there in Portugal because there's a lot of activity going on in Portugal and a lot of like potential there. So I always like to go where things are growing, because I feel like that's the place where you grow the most.
Yeah.
So like I'm going out there to make sure to be part of the growth over there and add as much value as I can. And then I'm going to the second thing is just uh, basically start an office for the company there, and in Dubai, working very close with my network out there. We had a very successful dinner in Dubai with some amazing people, and they made some very meaningful relationships there. And it went so well that we're gonna open up a branch over there in Dubai because just the demand,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and because what I'm doing is, I'm basically building bridges with good people all around the world that deserve to, get to know each other, just to know that each other exists. Because the thing is, there's a lot of competition, right, in this sector, the blockchain sector, cryptocurrency and stuff, right? And there's a lot of competition. So many different companies, startups, and like company projects that have been around for a little while that are trying to achieve the same thing, and they're competing. They forget that they're competing against the main machine, Then like we don't need to really at this point when they're getting strategized, the big the governments, the institutions, all that, while they're already big and organized, we're over here separating ourselves and everything when we should be organizing together, bringing everything, together, work together in cooperation to build something that's going to be able to survive what they do next, you know, like instead of being so separated.
Yeah.
So I'm taking all the best projects and I'm taking all the best, like the most reputable people, and I'm basically throwing these dinners and private events to bring them together because they have a lot in common, and I feel like they have chemistries. I'm not doing it for everybody.
Sure.
I'm being very selective of who I'm doing it with. That's why I'm building relationships to get to know these people. And I've been doing it for the past 4 years with these people.
Yeah.
So like yourself, you have seen me multiple times. You've heard of me multiple times for many years.
Yes.
So I subliminally, I've been in your mind this whole time,
Yes.
subliminally,
I know. Sure.
until the point where I come in and I'm like, boom,
Yeah.
like, So like this is what I do. I pay attention to people from far away, and then I'm relevant,
Yeah.
and then I come into
Like
their
I said,
lives.
you were in my phone for years. It was built in New Jersey. That's what it was. Hey, Bruce. Hey. So it's an amazing story, and I know we're going to be together. When do you leave for Dubai?
I leave in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I'll be out there.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll be there earlier. I leave on Friday, but we'll be out there doing some amazing things. I know. The future is very bright, and it's people like yourselves and stories like you tell, and I appreciate you really coming out with it and telling, because there's so many people out there who maybe they think that they can't make it, or that they're the only ones, or they could make it if this was different or that was different. And guys, it's you can do whatever you want. You make your own destiny. And so by you coming on and you sharing the story, it's really something special. Really appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, if anybody wants to see the story, I'm gonna be putting it up like on my Instagram.
Okay.
Like I've been sharing a little bit at a time. It's at bitcoin.changemylife.
Okay.
So that's my Instagram handle.
Bitcoin changed my life on Instagram. The infamous Milton. We got him on camera. Thanks so much for coming
Appreciate
on,
you.
man.
Thank you.
Really
I appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank you.
for sharing.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.